Hi, I'm Coach Kimberlyn, or just Kimberlyn, and I'm here for story time. Story time is really, it's just an opportunity to connect. I want to meet you where you're at, whatever time of day or night it might be. See, here's the thing, is that life is going to happen, whether we plan for it or not. And I am someone who wants to plan, but to plan purposely so that there is plenty of opportunity for joy and for play. And it's this balance of planfulness and spontaneity of non-attachment that is the essence of yoga living. Now, all month long, here is March, and things are starting to shift outside. In fact, I've shifted. I'm upstairs in the learning library, the real-time space for circles. That's what I call them, gatherings together of people who want to engage in the study of yoga living. In fact, I have a new program that is specifically designed to foster this shift, this recommitment to living authentically and living in alignment. It's called Yoga Living. And if it's something that you want to learn more about, I would highly encourage you to reach out and let me know so that I can share with you all of the wonderful information that's contained within this program. You're going to learn how to develop your own personal yoga practice. You're going to learn how to practice the research-proven habits for cultivating joy in your daily living. And then you're going to make a plan so that you've got a foundation for how you want to make the decisions and the choices, where and when and how you show up, so that you can live your life more vibrantly, more fully, more authentically in alignment with your best self. Now, it is March and spring is changing everything around us here in North America. And I was delighted to see the crocus pop up in my lawn and the lawn of my neighbors, and seeing these first blooms of spring reminds me that yes, shift is happening, and shift is such a critical component of living well. It really is the practice of letting go of the things that we think are supposed to be and being willing to open to the things that we don't yet know how they're going to pan out. So I want to talk today about hope. Now, I shared last week in terms of when we commit to a practice, particularly a wellness habit, it takes time, right? It's not as simple as a snap of the finger and making a decision. It's not even as simple as the experts say, in that it takes 21 or 30 days to develop a new habit. It really does take more like a lifetime. That's a long time. It's a long time to wait for the benefits of your shift. But here's the catch. Yoga teaches us that we don't have to do the practice perfectly. We just have to do it consistently, or at least more consistently than not doing it, so that we can reap the benefits of that practice. And once we start receiving those benefits, about 90 to 100 days into the new practice, our commitment will grow. That is why I say hope is the foundation of that perseverance. But really, it's the balance of perseverance and patience. I'm not a very patient person. I like to get things done. I think fast, I act fast, I speak fast. And I can rationalize and justify that because I do a lot of introspection. I do a lot of thinking. But that's why I practice slowing down. That's why I practice mindfulness and even slow-moving therapeutic yoga. Because left to my own habits, I would move probably too fast, too often, and exhaust myself. And how do I know that? Because I've done it on more than one occasion. And it was those crashes and burns that helped me the gift of crisis that helped me reassess, redefine, and realign the priorities of living my life so that I could cultivate an intimacy with inspiration. And the root of that discipline was really the practice of welcoming in the patience, the pause, so that I could stay in the practice long enough to reap the benefits. That's hope. Now, there is some conversation in the wellness world about a false optimism or a toxic optimism. And I don't want to endorse that. What I'm saying is that when we embrace hope based on this belief that things can and will get better, get closer to what we want. Now, there's still this tug of war in the sense of non-attachment and commitment to doing the things that help that come to be. Hence, intention without action is just an empty energy leak, right? If we don't commit to something that we value and then put our effort into that action, then we can't contribute to its fruition. But when we talk about hope, we got to hold two ideas at once. And you've heard me say this before, right? Just like hope is both patience and perseverance, as soon as we ebb too far to one side, we lose our centering, we lose our calm abiding. But furthermore, hope as a word is both a noun and a verb. And that excites me. A noun, a person, place, or a thing. In other words, it's the feeling. It's the sense or expectation, a desire even. Now, as a yogi, I'm going to advocate a desire without attachment. And we can talk about that another time. But as a verb, it's the action. It's the doing, the non-doing, the undoing, and the redoing. Putting hope into practice so that we can have the feeling. And I love this duality, that it really does speak to the idea that it's not enough to have hope without action. And some will say hope is a form of belief. Yes, if you put your beliefs to practice, then you might cultivate a sense of hope. So if hope is both this feeling and the action or the effort to sustain access to that feeling or to cultivate access to that feeling, what is it that we want to create? Let's get intentional about what matters most. Now, culturally, we have a number of kind of concepts or parables about hope. One is that we hope for the best. And that's a little bit like the toxic optimism that I was referring to, is that we sometimes deny the reality of what is and just hope blindly. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is being willing to show up in the work, the perseverance, to be patient with the progress, but yet hold dear to what matters most and do the work so that we can come a little closer and a little closer. Now, we get too attached to the end goal and we become rigid again. So that's not also a way in which we want to live in hope. Living in hope is a gentle holding, right? Calm abiding with an opening up, a peeling back of the layers to see things more authentically, more clearly. Another common phrase is hope springs eternal. And that just really means that the cycle goes on. There is no beginning and no end. Just like the crocus blooming again, remind me that the circle literally does continue. I remember the crocus bursting through the ground a year ago. And that was before things had shut down for the pandemic. And what a difference a year makes, right? But truly, what a difference a moment makes when you make it mindfully about how you want to show up. So if you don't yet have and possess this feeling of hope, perhaps doing hopeful things can help cultivate that sense of being in hope. And vice versa, if you have a sense of hopefulness, then finding the things that you can do to take the next step in bringing that hope to fruition, to life. To me, this is really the essence of yoga living. It's about showing up so that we can make choices about how we expend our energy, how we give our attention to cultivate the relationships, not only the relationship with ourselves and with each other, but our relationship with the world as it is. And the more we can be with what is as it is, the more calm abiding, a sense of groundedness we will have to then make clearer decisions, choosing often between two good things. Harder yet is choosing between two bad things, two things that are not ideal, but finding the next best right step based from a place of hope can help us to shift incrementally and mindfully towards being with what is as it is, as we continue the growth journey of discovering a little more intimately what it's like to be love, to live in a space of joy and happiness. Hope is the union of patience and perseverance based on trust. Trust is a big challenge for me. Not surprising. Patience, the execution of that trust in waiting, in non-doing, is a challenge for me. Which is more of a challenge for you, the perseverance side or the patience side? Both of them help us to feel hope. Both of them are based on trust. And my biggest hurdle, honestly, if I'm going to be completely transparent with you, my biggest hurdle in learning to live my yoga was this belief that I had to do it alone. I earned my own degrees. I paid my way to create the life of education and moving and all the things, the adventures that I did. I had this belief that I had to prove myself by doing it solo, independently. And that, my friends, is one of the most dangerous myths we can buy into, because it convinces us that it's a weakness when we either accept or even ask for help. We are meant to do this in community, together, to cultivate this accountability and transparency. I call it transparent alignment. And it's the philosophy that rules my coaching, my teaching, my practice of living. How can I help you cultivate a deeper relationship with prana? Well, by helping you see more clearly, by peeling back the layers and finding a calm abiding place so that you can be with what is, as we work to take the steps to move towards what it is that you really want in a gentle, holding way, so that we can live in hope and cultivate hope through our daily efforts. Thanks so much for being here, for investing in your personal growth. I would love a chance to work more intimately with you if you are ready for that accountability, for that support, that guide to take you into the next step of your own clearer seeing and deeper intimacy with your authentic self and the relationships that matter most to you. Be well. Take care of you. Take care of each other. May you breathe deeply, move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. May you know hope as a practice and a state of being. Be well. Namaste.